NHRA production teams face is willing participants. One of the things that I noticed with the NHRA All-Star Top Fuel call-out that went down at the NHRA Gator Nationals, and granted, it was hampered by weather, and there was a lot of other extenuating circumstances that didn't help matters, but I also felt like, man, this was a classic round peg, square hole, square peg, round hole thing. You were putting all these people that are not pro wrestlers, that have never, that likely have very little media training or any desire to be the Ultimate Warrior or Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant, right? I do feel at times maybe we're expecting a lot of them because they're not really comfortable doing this. This is, have you encountered that, like, in as often as you've stuck a camera in people's face, maybe even from other walks of your life, like outside of the motorsports realm? Do you recognize that as a significant hurdle, that it takes a willing dance partner to do these type of things we're talking about?
I think it does. The majority of the stuff, at least from a racing perspective, that I've done in terms of filming has been on the NHRA side of things. And there is a good amount of corporate backing that goes into that. And I think that there is a little bit of fear at times, just in terms of the way that things could be taken out of context. And a lot of those rivalries that maybe are discussed back in the pits and things along those lines don't come as much to the forefront when it comes to actually putting stuff out there publicly. I do think that, as you guys have mentioned multiple times in the past, that this year, now that there are a lot of individual team owners in that situation, it's going to open up the opportunity for it to potentially come out more than it has in the past. But I personally have not run into many of those situations. I unfortunately also did not see much of the Top Fuel call-up, just given our participation in that event. Was there any type of sort of tension within those moments? Or
It felt like, and I don't mean this from a at all negative, just being honest, it kind of felt to me like it fell flat. Like it just, there was all this buildup initially, and there was all this talk and all this hype about it. And we were especially involved in that. We were ranting and raving about it constantly. And then it felt like we get there, and I mean, everybody's kind of like trying to, tiptoe, and it felt like cat on a hot tin roof.
Like, let's get this over with.
Yeah, like, let's get this over with.
I thought it went okay. I did. I mean, I didn't think it was, I think it needs tweaked a little bit. And I think that everybody will play into it the more you do it.
Yeah.
You know?
It was like an awkward first time type.
And maybe that's what it was. But I do think that willing participant thing is a big part of this, because, and JT and Mike would know better than I, but like, isn't it a kind of a thing nobody wants to do, to be on Hard Knocks, the HBO show?
Yeah,
like, nobody wants to be on the HBO's NFL show because they don't want everything being recorded, and they don't want to be on camera, and it's a distraction.
Some do, some don't.
Some do, some don't.
And I think you're going to get that with anything.
I would say all we hear about in the last 5 years or so is like, whoever draws the short straw gets Hard Knocks. Like, people don't want it because in their eyes, for their team, it's not worth what the distractions are.
At the same time, we've seen the Chiefs come out with the franchise, which is almost their own Hard Knocks show.
Right.
They have a sponsor for it, and it's literally almost exactly like the Hard Knocks show, and it's in depth, and it goes not only in training camp, like it goes throughout the season, and it's awesome.
But they can control the narrative of that.
They can control the narrative of that. Yeah.
And Amazon did one as well. And I guess there's different approaches to it, but I think we've seen. But it's to your point, Wes. Though, I mean, you're making a good analogy here, because the team doesn't want to participate because they see it as a personal drawback, instead of what it could do for the greater good of the sport.
And that's where getting people to buy in on the big picture and the vision is probably the biggest challenge.
Do you know
my son is big on the F1 stuff? It's been actually really cool. And
and I wasn't an F1 fan before that show.
A little anecdotal thing is, it's been about the most exciting thing for me that I've experienced is that in a long time is my little boy. He's getting ready to turn 14. He is a freaking F1 fanatic. Max. And it all started with Netflix. I mean, he watched that, and he's watched every episode. He plays the video game nonstop. He's on the websites. Like, he lives for Formula One. And it's been such a cool thing to see him get passionate about it, and to see that passion fueled by a reality show and a video game is very interesting to me. And I think there's a hell of a big lesson for like the whole world as to how important those things are. But he told me that Max Verstappen, the reigning Formula One world champion, opted out of the Netflix docu-series or whatever
The first year, right?
because he didn't like the way they would repurpose audio clips. They would use audio that was at different times, and he didn't like the way things were presented. So you've got your reigning champion opting out
for this year. So he's opted out for this year.
Yeah, and it's so. Anyways,
Well, yeah, I
think
just
the
binge
first
watched
year-
the whole thing. Yeah, maybe he wasn't in it. He wasn't in it much. I don't think.
Lewis
Yeah.
Hamilton was not in the first season very
Yeah,
much.
that's actually wasn't the first
And
one.
I think that he opted out or got himself out of it somehow. And I think, the response that it got, and by the time it came around for the second season,
then
they were
he
like,
felt left out.
yeah, then he was like,
Yeah.
let me get in this now, bro. Like he saw
Because
how
all these people
successful
he
it was.
became
saw
like
the
Carlos
power-
Sands or
he
whatever.
saw the
you know.
power of that show and the new fans. I'm sure and to that point, how powerful like a show is, like say Hard Knocks. It's so powerful that they can take some scrub that probably isn't even going to make the practice squad, okay? And they're gonna follow this guy, show his inside story and stuff, and every freaking fan out there that's watched this show is pulling for this cat.
Yep.
And
That's
this
a great-
cat isn't even going to make
Yeah.
the practice squad.
That's a great point
know?
for what it could do to someone up and coming in drag racing.
yeah.
It doesn't get all of the glory and doesn't get all the attention that the big names get. And what a show like that could do by just focusing on that struggle of that person to even get to the track, to
'Cause you-
qualify.
you've
'cause
related
that's
Is
to
there
the
any
same amount, right?
examples,
Yeah.
T, of and Mike, you may know this as well, and I just have no idea. Are there any examples of people that have been on those shows that were like highlighted on a team that went on to become like huge, like very successful?
Oh yeah, I think yeah.
I mean, because I
Yeah,
wonder.
you have to
I
go
wonder if
back.
anybody's
You have to
paying
go back.
attention.
There's
Yeah.
a
Okay,
lot
is
of
anybody
rookies
paying
and a lot
attention
of
to?
guys that come in from the draft and stuff like that. So yeah.
So you
for
have a
sure.
guy that comes in and is introduced to the masses on Hard Knocks, right? I wonder how much of an
trying to think
impact
of
that
what-
has on like merch sales, because I bet if
Oh,
he
yeah.
actually makes the team and he goes on to have a promising future or goes on to have like a pretty successful career, that
because they still
visibility, that viewership or whatever, that reach, it's going to affect everything else that happens to him for the
they
rest of
don't-
his career.
they don't leave out their stars and they don't leave out their draft picks and stuff coming in. But it's funny, they always do grab, a guy or two down here from the depths of nowhere.
Because they want the drama of
Because
a
it's the
guy that's
interesting
probably
story.
going to get
Well,
cut.
it's something else for someone to relate to. Like
Yeah.
they love these guys already. These guys are already stars. If you follow that team, you're already bought into those guys. But we're going to grab these guys here and you're going to relate to them. We're going to try to make this guy a hero. If he does make it, holy shit, right? We just, we called our shot basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's an interesting thing, man. It really is. Well, Corey, seriously, buddy, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thanks for joining us.
The dog just
guys,
came in and said, time
Yeah,
to
the
go.
dog just come in
Yeah.
and said, Pops, it's
Like
time to
some-
bounce.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. I love what you guys are doing. Like I said at the beginning of this, it's really cool to be able to be a part of the conversation. And also I appreciate you highlighting some of the work and stuff that I've done in terms of the video stuff. I'm looking forward to being able to do a little bit more this year, and definitely we'll be sharing it all with you, and hoping to see you guys out at the racetrack. So thanks again.
What's
Thank
the
you.
best
Can't wait
way
to watch it,
everybody
man.
can
It's
check
so-
out your
it's
stuff?
so well done.
Give us your handles or your links or whatever. What's the best way for people to check out your stuff?
Sure. Yeah. So all the videos are posted on YouTube under the name React 104. You can see any of the PDRA, the NHRA, and other work that's on there. And like I said, that should be doing the PDRA season opener at Galat this year. Really excited about going down there for that. And now it sounds like there may be some opportunities as well to maybe go out and do a few NHRA races here and there as well. So looking forward to it, and hopefully just continuing to add on to what you guys are doing in terms of showing the sport in a different way and getting people excited. And if we can get a few more people in the stands, then I think we're all doing our jobs.
Yes, sir, man. From your mouth to God's ears, brother. Thank you so much, Corey.